find something wrong in heaven, baby. Ooh, I swear something wrong with me. I can find something wrong in heaven, baby. But what I got to show for this honesty might be the shit I'm on forever, baby. Yeah. Would you still wanna hold me down? She said, I see you be right, wanna see you be happy. What if I don't know how? What happens when you get to the top and it ain't what you thought, and you cross all your T's and your eyes all got dots, and the dots in your eyes getting small from fatigue, and they try to call you out but they die late. That's my current mind state in a time where time's great. Shit, I be trying to make my prime wait. I got this fear about fear, and that I fear about fear, and I got feelings about feelings. I be sealing that ceiling, I be Sherlock Holmes of the stresses. I find all of them shits, girl, I'm extra. I could find the one cloud when it's sunny. I could feel broke in a pile of money. Try to convince myself shit why I talk a lot. Shit, I could bring sand to the beach and then stand in the parking lot and not even go in. Take dips in positivity, but gotta be thrown in. Something wrong in heaven, baby. Ooh, I swear something wrong with me. I can find something wrong in heaven, baby. But what I got to show for this honesty might be the shit I'm on forever, baby. Yeah. Would you still wanna hold me down? She said, I see you be right, wanna see you be happy. What if I don't know how? I don't know that it's gonna get better, will I get it over time? They be so negative, these sentiments of mine. Know it seem I'm winning, it's my element to shine, but it don't always look the same inside as it is outdoors in the midst of cloud warfare. Trying to make them feel me where they don't anymore care, and been having recent success, almost as scary as failure to me. What if I still stress the people that's caring for me out? Until they make their way out, and I'm standing in sun covered in rubble from the bubble of my gray doubt, and they waiting on emotional payouts for standing by me all these years when I would stay pouting. How much have I earned with my good traits? I be pointing out the bad, but in good faith. I've been trying to tell me that I'll be happier, happy. Make the darkness occasional, the content's everlasting. It's the type of beat that make me want talking cliches. Make me want turn my phone off for 3 days. Make me wish that all my dues were just prepaid. Make them go through like 5 people to get to me. Like, let all my messages be relays. On vacate, eating till my thoughts vacate. So I think I could turn off for a few, but if I never lose this frown shit, will I have lost you?
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. What's going on, guys? Another day. Unfortunately, unlike yesterday, there was not a whole lot of movement in the market, so not a whole lot to talk about, but we're here. Pop out the chat. Switch up the music. Alrighty. Hi. What's going on, guys? Quixie, Pratish, Andrew. How's it going? I don't want to lose my place. Keep that open. But yeah, yesterday we were kind of sitting pretty. The market was on a downturn. And we did continue after we hopped off for a bit. Sui, I don't know how you pronounce it. SUI continued to the downside. I think at the very pinnacle, I think I was at like $32 worth of profit, something like that. But you guys know me. We're looking for bigger numbers here. All right. So we did have an ABC on the smaller time frames that led to this little bit of a pump. Now, for me, it's either win or lose. Not walking away from this trade. This does look like a retest. We are currently hitting a local high on the smaller time frames. We do have a little bit of an ABC forming, so we'll see if things continue to the downside. Now, this is going to be like, if we do continue the downside, this will form a 1 hour time frame ABC. Now we have A, we have B. Oh, I gotta turn on the little lock here. A, B, and C. I don't think I'll be taking the hedge on that. I would like a larger structure because we took our trade off of this ABC. So for me, I do need something a little bit of an equal size. So like if we put in this ABC and then, you know, this and then this, I'll take that one. Or if we complete the larger overall ABC, that's, you know, hopefully what is being created at the moment, which is right here. All right. If we do happen to get down to $3.27, I'll take the hedge trade on that. I don't know if I will be taking it with like equal margin, because I just have a strong feeling that that is going to be a rocky region. You know, maybe I'll use the same margin, just less of a stop loss. So it won't exactly be a 1-to-1 profit ratio if everything just completely reverses. We'll see. Now, if we just kind of dump off a cliff, I'll be taking profit around like 240, because that's close enough to the 50% mark where I'm comfortable just kind of resetting the trade. I don't know if I'll be hopping back into SUI again, but you know, if something does open up, you know, on a different coin or the same coin, we'll see. I do trade on multiple exchanges because I had some open trades on the previous exchange that we were working with, but obviously things fell through. So I'm letting those ride, and then I obviously have my main profiles, but this is just where I stream. So, you know, for me, it's about the trade setups, being in the correct trade, the risk involved, and then obviously the ROI versus what was put in. To me, I don't really care about the number. You know, I don't care to show off. As well as that, it's very easy for people to come on here, pocket watch, and then be like, hey, you're hiding stuff from us. Give us money. Okay? Plain and simple. Long on BTC from 1,881,000. That's the smaller time frame trade, right? Talking about right here. Did you take that off of a setup, or did you just YOLO? I mean, if you really cut down onto the smaller time frames, you know, there's that. I wouldn't touch that. Sloth. How dare you? How dare you make me blush? You know my cheeks get rosy red too fast. Use patterns. I got you, man. Go ahead and open up Trading View. Let's take a look at some of the other things here. Are there any special coins that I should take a look at today? Markets. Let's see what coins are on the move today. Coins down 10%. Looking for high volume here. This one's got 16 million in volume, down 8.4%. Let's see, anything of note on the chart here? Okay. I mean, we have an A to a B to a C on the larger time frame here. So that is something of note. I'm so mad I dipped out of the BTC short for a little profit, not following the strategy. Still happens after all these years. So you were just sitting there yesterday while I was screaming at the camera about jumping out of trades too soon. Trust me, man, it's hard. It's you know, it's one thing to say it. It's another thing to do it. That's why, like, when I was trying to explain it yesterday, I think SDK, I think it was. It's just one of those things where, like, I can't make you feel it. It has to be something that you do and you see the repercussions of, and then you start understanding why it's important to just sit back and let the trade figure itself out. I mean, it's always about just setting up roadblocks. If you're jumping out too soon, maybe you're only working with one account. If you have an account dedicated to longer time frame trades, maybe that might help you. And then you have an account that, yeah, maybe you do take profit a little bit earlier than usual, just trying to be safe. Yep, that is the bane of a trader's existence, is thinking. You said I thought it would do this or do that. Yeah, I mean, you have to, have ideas, to, mentally prepare yourself for certain situations. But every time I thought I knew better, it showed me differently. I mean, soon has a long setup. Oh, 20. I just saw 29 million here. Prove. I mean, this is on a 5-minute chart here. I don't even know. I don't think I want to take a trade off the 1-minute time from here. I see it. I mean, it's very clear. A, B, and C. I mean, there's plenty of, like, local high room. Our next major resistance is all the way up here at $1.52 to like $1.55. So, I mean, how much headroom is on this? 20%? Don't exactly know if I want to get involved with that. I mean, we had a very clear ABC top right here. Obviously, we did have... It was very rocky. I mean, that's to be expected with these altcoins. You can see right here, it, came back down. You would have re-entered. How much headroom do you have on percentages here? Yeah, you would have been knocked out. Like if you were using a 1% stop loss, you would have been flip-flopped out of this trade at minimum like 5 times. Now, if you held true to that 1% stop loss, you would currently be up on a 20 R&R. I mean, you're still net positive on it. I mean, depending on the percentage of risk that you used. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just taking an interest. I'm trying to find things for people. Obviously, if we're going to be here more often, I do need stuff to talk about. So if we can kind of scan the market and find things that are interesting, we can take part in it. How's Ethereum doing today? Ethereum had a little bit of a drop as well, which we definitely needed to get above that all-time high for any sort of trade setup. Now we definitely could continue pumping. Like I'm in shorts on this account, but I wouldn't mind it if this was just a temporary break to the downside. Litecoin. I mean, Litecoin is not doing too hot right now compared to the other coins. And we are now back down below the macro local high here. Well, larger than the current structure that is participating in the downside. I wouldn't say that's macro. Let's say this is probably our macro structure here. Oh, and I did find out that on Buy DeFi, down here in the like it's kind of hidden because like if you're not hovering over it, down here in the bottom right you can click and drag your windows to a size that works for you. Yeah, that was like the first step for me really getting a good idea of how I wanted to be a trader. Was simplifying, just longing local lows, creating an if this and that statement. That was a very key piece in the puzzle for me. And I still think like it's a decent strategy if we're in a bull market, for sure. Yikes! That is a chart. That is a chart. We had one ABC top all the way up here, and it's just been sliding. That is the most perfect downtrend I've ever seen. That is just a direct slope. How perfect this downtrend is. That is nuts. I look at gold? Sure. I looked at gold the other day, and it didn't look like there was much to talk about. On the smaller time frame, we did create a bullish ABC. And then if we do pump from here, we will end up creating a bearish ABC here. And we do have another opportunity here. And then we have another opportunity here. So, I mean, yeah, for the foreseeable future, I mean, every single local high is an opportunity to short. So, I mean, with all those locally compact together, I probably, if I was, you know, playing futures on gold or whatever, I don't know. I mean, it would be up to the user on how much risk they would like to use. Yeah, you have a couple different options. You can either reduce your risk entirely, or you can say, instead of just taking, you know, I'm going to take a short here and a short here, you can be like, well, let's just go for the larger structure. You know, I'll short here, and then obviously the largest structure of them all. That way, like, you're not spreading yourself too thin. And trying to short these first two back and forth, instead of just, you know, limit yourself to the other opportunities. Beyond that point, I mean, if we go to the downside, when we have a long opportunity here and here, so, I mean, you could probably average these together and long that region if we do happen to put in the lower low. I mean, there's a couple different opportunities that could be created here in the near future for gold. Now, obviously, you know, I'm always, if we're on a huge run to the upside, I'm always rooting for consolidation, correction, and retests. So, you know, I'm definitely sitting on the side of shorts for this, especially with this slope, you know, just being super aggressive. And I mean, and if we did happen to have a correction, you know, just target the local lows here, 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 and here. Technically, there is one right there, but in comparison, I'll just say those two. So yeah, these would be your target areas for gold. What was the coin that we were looking at just a couple minutes ago? It's perpetual, it's change. Had like, oh, it's soon. I could throw a couple dollars at it. I mean, let's see here. Back to its local high. Well, this one here, that's 36%. And then right here, that'd be 60%. And then obviously if it goes for a retest of the all-time, well, from what I can see, all-time high, but I don't know if that's truly the all-time high. That's 80%. Now, in terms of like local lows, there's really no support down in this region. Obviously, we have a lot of sideways price action in this kind of pocket here, so that could act as support. And then if we're really breaking down into like smaller blips on the map, you know, 20 cents. I mean, ADA has a good opportunity for a short as well. Technically, we put in the lower low here. So your current, well, this is like an outlier wick. I'm really not going to count that. So if we, you know, it's out of standardization for this. If you look at everything else, there's nothing that looks like that. I mean, I'm sure it you know, hit a low point here, but for all intents and purposes, I'm just gonna ABC this. That's our current position, and then we have A to B to C here. And then it looks like, you know, if we wanted to complete this structure, it would look like that. So, I mean, a retest of 50 cents on a macro scale would be likely. I mean, this is only a 4 hour as well. It's nothing crazy. So, let's see. We are currently above it. Does look like it's going to be rocky, but you can see we have an A to a B here, so it looks like even if we wanted to continue to the upside, we might have to complete at least this structure here. That might be something I get my little hands on. Let's see, can I... It's more than likely available. Yeah. Now, what would be really cool, and maybe there is a way to do it, but if you have push notifications from BuyDeFi, they give you a lot of price updates and stuff. I'm sure if I set up like a stop limit trade, it would give me a notification that the trade's been triggered. But would be very interesting if we can just set up straight up alerts. Sends you a push notification. What's this button do? Oh, that's the My Rewards. You can get coupons. There is a pretty cool thing on BuyDeFi right now. It's called the Maniac Calendar. Essentially, like you know, whatever fee, like you get cash back on your fees. Nothing crazy. But you know, a couple cents here and there on the fees that you generate, you get some of your money back. Like for me on this account, you know, 3 cents. But every single day you can get I think it's kind of like gambling. I did like a little like roller, so I'm getting 0.11% back on fees. What do you think about optimism? I don't have any like actual opinions. What's the ticker for it? Imagining it's OP USD. So we had a very nice ABC top that had no pushback. So I mean, if that's any indicator of where the market's going, so we have ABC. So first and foremost, we'd probably be targeting local low. So 61 cents. Take a look at the larger time frame here. We do have a macro A, B, C. And then within the C wave, we have A, B, and C. So we kind of have two competing levels here. We have the smaller time frame ABC. So I probably like this ABC here until the market actually decides where we're going to go. Like if Bitcoin wants to continue a breakout, or if this is a top, that's going to decide whether or not OP goes either way. But in terms of like coin potential, this is actually a very nice setup because obviously to the upside, you know, if you break through this resistance here, I mean, you have all the way back up till $2.76 in all reality. You do have some like intermediary points here at $1.20 and $1.21 or $1, you know, yeah, $1.20, $2.20, my bad. And then you have obviously the short trade. So you have like this little pocket region where you have a long and a short, and then you can kind of wait for the market to decide on where it's going to go. So in terms of like setup potential on this coin, obviously a lot of the setups are gone. We're moved away from the entry points, but so far so good. Like the coin in general, the structures look good. Obviously some of the A's to C's are like quite spaced out, but like you can see like up here, like this was a very nice ABC. I'm sure you would have been stopped out a couple times, but for the most part, it worked out appropriately. You know, it's an altcoin. You got to expect stuff like that to happen. You know, we had this nice ABC long here, which was a part of the larger structure. I mean, you definitely could have shorted this region. You definitely would have been knocked out a couple times, but yeah, I mean, it looks okay. You know, not every setup is picture perfect, but I see plenty of good ABC tops like here and here, and here. So I mean, there's potential here. There's definitely potential. Murdering Monk wants to look at Dogecoin. And what sucks is I know that because it's been around so long, it does hold structure. So yeah, Dogecoin, we have, if we look at the macro here, we have an A to a B. Okay. And then if we look at like kind of the medium macro, we have an A to a B. And then at the very top of that B wave, we have an ABC, which we actually had a retest of that resistance. Over the past day. So I probably would see this continue to the downside. Obviously, once we get down to like 13 cents, you do have the opportunity for a long because that would turn into a larger ABC structure. And then if you wanted to maintain bullishness from there, you could. We'll probably see it extend past this local low if we did see that, and we would probably see it come a little bit further down to like 9.2 cents. But my money is probably on us returning back down to this local low here. There you go, Monk. There you go, little guy. It's for you. Add Bitcoin. Add soon. What's that guy's name on YouTube again? Because he added something. He added something that is pretty funny. Ice cream man. Zoom piggy. Name's Ice Cream Man 22. Hold on.
Thank you for the racing helmet, L. For one. Nothing.
This is the type of live streamer that I'm going to turn into eventually. This is me in the future.
Guys. Piggy Boy in the 1-9. Uh-oh, Batman time. No one watching Batman.
Dude, he's looking so suave here. Oh, he's looking rough. All right, he's going through it.
I just hope no one insults me today. Just hope no one insults me today.
Where do I think Bitcoin's gonna go? Well, I mean, at the current moment, you know, everyone wants me to say that it's gonna go up, and it's a possibility, but like for me, it's not about where it's gonna go. It's where it could be bullish from, and right now, like you can see if we look at the macro chart here, okay. To me, when the market starts to get thin, that means we're due for a pretty substantial correction. All right. You can see right here, you know, we had a really good correction and a timeout, and then we had a run. All right. Market got thin towards the top, you know, and the slope got too aggressive. So we took a timeout, had a correction. From that, we got a pump. Market got thin. We had a timeout. We had a correction. We had a pump. All right. And you can see every single time from these corrections, they got smaller and smaller. So this one was, you know, 193%. This one was 122. And this one was 66. So they're getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So with us being at an ABC top, that is the potential for downside. Now, I'm not going to be like full like bear mode until we're back below 109,000. If we get back below 109,000, that's when I can go like, okay, I do think that we have a pretty high likelihood of seeing at least 74,000. Now, if we get down to 74,000 and we have another bearish continuation structure, I would be calling for, you know, 55 to 50K. So as long as we're above 109K, I am currently long off of 114,000, but that's just like insurance. Okay. I am not like 100% convinced we're going to continue this run, but that doesn't matter. We had a bullish continuation structure. Therefore, I'm going to be in a bullish trade. But now we have a bearish structure. So I'm also in a bear trade. You know, the market is versing itself. So Fish is snoring so loud right now. Dude, he's like a little diesel engine, man. So at the moment, the most like if I want to be bullish, I would be hoping for a retest of 109,000 while holding it as support. But to say where it's gonna go is hard for me. I'm short. I'll just say where I'm short from and where I'm long from. I am short from 123,000, and I'm currently long from 114,659. Right. Beyond that point, I don't care where it goes. You know, I hope it just moves. That's all. But if we do see downside price action, I think we could still maintain a bullish stance above 98K. I don't necessarily think it's all doom and gloom if we get below 109K, but it 100% increases the probability that we have continuation downwards. All right, but we could still be bullish from like 101 to like 98. We'll see though. Said, hey there, Kite. Can you show me an example of ABC multi-time frame analysis? So as always, if you're going to do a multi-time frame analysis, you always start with your largest time frame. So we go out to the daily and we look at the chart and we try to find any macro ABCs that can be used in confluence with the medium and the micro. So I mean, at the current moment on Bitcoin, the only ABC that's of any super significance on the larger time frame would be at 109,000. So currently from that standpoint, we are still bullish. So then you jump down to maybe like a 2-hour time frame. And you go, okay, well, let's see. You know, if we're in the C wave, let's try to figure out where we can take a short time frame off of this. So we have A, we have B, and we have C right here. So that would be your short. And then if you wanted to go even further down, you go down to like the 15-minute, and you can go, okay, all right, we're in a short. We are now working ourselves to the downside. But if you're trying to go for scalps, you can be like, okay, well, even if we are short, the market still has to retest the upside to confirm resistance on the way down. So you would be looking for longs. Now, these would be short-term longs that you're not looking to hold for a long period of time. But, you know, we would go, okay, we have a downtrend and we have an uptrend. Okay. So this is something that has always pissed me off. There's some people in the comments that be like, well, you can't use ABCs in real time. This is a prime example of how you use ABCs in real time. All right, we have a downtrend, we have an uptrend. All right, what does a long ABC need? It needs a downtrend, an uptrend, and a downtrend. Well, if we have another downtrend, that will create this ABC. So we can go, okay, well, if this happens, then that will be our entry point for a long. And then we might have a retest and then continuation. So we can kind of pre-plan that if the market goes down and creates this ABC, we can go ahead and take that long entry. And, you know, it wouldn't be like a huge profit maker. It would be somewhere around the ballpark of aiming for, you know, like 3.5%. So if you're using, you would have to be trading in a very particular way to like really make money off of that. You would have to be using high leverage, small stop losses. You'd probably be using somewhere around like 0.5% risk, and then you'd be using like a 0.5% stop loss. So that way, you know, you can at least make like a 7 R&R off of this. Because I mean, if you use a 1% stop loss, you're making a 3.5, a 3-point R&R, 3.5 R&R, which to me just isn't even worth the time. Like when I'm looking for trades, I'm looking for big boys. I'm just not in the game anymore like that. Like if I do take a smaller time frame trade, it's always in confluence with something that I'm eyeballing, either a completion of an ABC or, you know, it folds into a larger ABC. So like if we take a look at like SU, for example, I took my ABC short off of like the 5, 15-minute, 1 hour, which is a smaller time frame for me. But I'm looking at the larger time frame here, and I'm saying, okay, we have an A and we have a B. So more than likely, if I take this trade, it will be, you know, hopefully, working its way down to complete the larger structure, which gives me a lot of room of profit. So I mean, that's all the way down at like $3.20, and then, you know, I'll take the hedge trade, but I would be hoping that we have even further continuation down to like $2.40. I love you too, Sloth. I love you so much. And here you go again. Get my cheeks all worked up.
You have a new sense of direction of where you want this to go versus this kind of cold little boy inside where yeah. Open up one more time. Let's hear you too. And
Circle world, I'm still backed up
I
in
took in corners.
Don't know if I felt this uncomfortable before. Screaming land ahoy in California. I've been underwater for so long. Box my soul and sell it for a quarter. Don't know if I've ever spoken openly.
So another good example of multi-time frame analysis. We back out to a larger time frame on Cardano, and we go to, like, our lowest point here. We'd say, okay, well, we have an A, we have a B, we have a C, kind of our mid-area point. You can see price action somewhat respects it, but we have a lot of jumps above, obviously right here as well. So technically, from a macro standpoint, we have the necessary means for a pretty significant short here. Obviously, our macro local low sitting down here at like 27 cents to like 36 cents. And then we cut down to kind of like the medium time frame. We have A. We have B. We have C. So we have an A here, and then we are currently within the B wave. So we would like to assume that the market would want to complete this larger structure. So how do we get there? Well, we go down to the B wave, and then we can see within the B wave, we have an A, we have a B, and we have a C. So if I take this entry here, we have confluence that the market would like to come back down and retest 52 cents. And then, of course, we have the larger structure overall, which could lead to even more downside, closer to the 30-cent level. So taking this trade here opens up a lot of opportunity. Now, personally, if I were to take this trade, I would be closing it around the 40% mark or 50% mark, which conveniently lines up with this local low here of the ABC. And then my hope would be, I always want things to work out in the best possible way. They don't always, but my hope would be is that we come down, we turn this into one big A, and then we come back up for a retest, hopefully get some sort of ABC here, and then we work our way down. That way, I can take a long position here, I can take a short position here, and then let the market do its magic. I close my hedge when the market gives me an equal or larger opportunity. So, for example, if I take a long position, I have to wait until the market gives me another opportunity to go long. So I would enter here, and then I would exit here. A lot of people go, well, what if, you had a and a B and a C at like a higher price point? Why wouldn't you just get out of the trade, when the market told you that it was going to be bearish? Well, it just comes down to the fact that not every single ABC is going to work out. So, getting out of this long trade here, just because there's a bearish structure, this could be a very simple retest and then continuation. So, yeah, am I missing out on this little bit of profit here? Yeah, but I have no confirmation that we're going to stop. If I go to Bitcoin, I look at the previous price points here. Like if I got into a long right here, and then the market makes an A and a B and a C, what if I got out of my position just because of that? Or I got out of my position here, and there was no real good ABCs, and we just continued. So from this standpoint, we had an ABC here, and our next ABC was here. So you would have entered here, exited here. And it would have been a little bit of a wild road. I mean, this area was flush with back and forths. We had an ABC top here, which could have been your hedge position. And then you would have tried to enter long here, which would have worked out momentarily. And then you had another short here, so you can move that short down. And then we had another long opportunity here, which ended up coming back down. I don't remember if I got stopped out on that second try. And then we had another short opportunity here, so you can move your trade down. And then it finally ripped to the upside. Now you do, you kind of want to stick to equal or larger setups, but sometimes things just move. Your perspective gets skewed. So we had a good ABC right here, so you could have moved up your trade here. But beyond that point, we didn't have another good ABC until right here. So you would have, for all intents and purposes, entered here, exited here. There's always going to be that guy that goes, but what about this? What about the 17% that you missed out on? Yeah, but did you even have a trade open? You probably, if you do it this way, you probably made more money than most people. So to the guy that's saying, what about that extra little bit of percent that you missed out on because you didn't take your profit at the very, very tippy top? Well, they thought the tippy top was all the way back here. They got scared. So, to me, missing out on that little bit of profit, it's no big deal. As well as that, the people are always going to say stuff. They're going to be like, well, what if it never does that? Okay. If it never does that, one or two things happened. I probably have a short hedge open. Or two, we're probably still ripping to the upside. So why do I care? All right. I don't know. I just been doing it so long enough that to me, it's almost an inevitability that eventually you're going to get either a hedge or you're going to get an opportunity to get out. It might not always be at the price point that you want it to be, but it will be there. And it's about allowing the trade to give you whatever potential is there. Like I said, if you leave it up to a regular trader, they're going to take their profit way sooner. Or they're going to try to time the market and get out way later. It's always something. But if you listen to the market and, look at the opportunities that are available, most of the time you're going to get it right. Last bull market, you said V-chain chart was structured perfectly. Don't remember saying that, but I probably did, if you remember it. Are you talking about 2021 bull market? Or where here? You talking about 2021? Now, if it was all the way back in 2021, I was more than likely talking about local lows. You know, having retests, setting in support regions. That, to me, is being structured perfectly as well. But if we're talking about ABCs and we're talking about a little bit later towards like when the bear market started to get going, that's when I really transitioned to ABCs. Yeah, we had ABC top here, perfectly well structured. We had an ABC bottom here, perfectly well structured. And of course, we're always going to have regions like this where people are going to go, well, what about this ABC? Yeah, some ABCs fail. We have continuations. But if you keep at it, you would have caught this entry. And at that point, did it really matter? You know, maybe you didn't get the out that you wanted. I mean, if we cut down to a smaller time from here, we have an ABC long here. So, I mean, between those 2 points was 73%. If you wanted to take profit and re-enter the trade there, that wouldn't have been bad. On the smaller time frames, we had an ABC top that was in confluence with the actual ABC from the upside. I mean, could have taken that. That would have given you pretty much a perfect entry for this downside. Then we had, I don't know if we put in the lower low there. We did not. But that's okay, because you would have just been using this previous structure here anyways. So you had an ABC bottom here, which, yeah, you would have been knocked out of it a couple times. And then we had, boom, 300% off of that. You could have either caught the short hedge here or here. And then once we put in this lower low off of this level here, because this was an A to a B to a C. A to B. And then as soon as we put in that lower low, you can go ahead and take profit on this long position. So you would have taken profit off of this long here. Now, maybe you would have done it right here as well, because, I mean, that's A to B to C, but that's a very thin structure. So I'm not sure if you would have done that or not. I don't know if I would have done that or not. But 88% off of that long position. That's what I'm saying. A lot of people, they would go, well, man, you really missed out. You know, what about the other 106% that you missed out on? I guarantee you, if you go to that same person, they had so many trades in between that period of time, they're at a net negative. They had to refill their account, where you just held steady and, yeah, you walked away with profit. And then you have the hedge position from up here that's also in profit as well. So you actually secured all of the profit between here and here. And then now, beyond that point, you're making new profit. Now, you actually still would not be out of that short position, I don't think. I mean, if you really wanted to, it would have been here. But as of right now, there's no structure that would scream get out of a short position. If we put in a higher high here, that would be a good opportunity to get out of a short. But yeah, you're still holding this short. Now, you guys know me, I only hold shorts until about 50%. So I probably still would have been out of this short probably about here. Yeah, VeChain looks fine. It's rocky at some points, like every altcoin, but the structure is there. So yeah, I would say it still holds up for sure. Oh my God, something again. We love to see it. Now, if we put in the lower low here at 117,000, that does create another long opportunity for a larger retest. If we end up holding that support region. We're going to be on here for about 10 more minutes. And then I'm going to go ahead and hop off. Talk to my friend Monk for a little bit. And then head out. Go get some work done. Nice to see the market working here. Now, let's go check back up on ADA and see if that has slipped down any.
Yeah, I was feeling so done, so through with it. Like all love was some way polluted and to have
So
it
crude.
someday lose it is like
Okay,
someday bruises. And maybe that's true. Maybe love
yeah, I think I'm gonna take it.
took and tattoo. But who would I become if all
I already have
what I love?
like $8 of risk on the board for this account, so
Under this Hollywood
we'll do $7 of margin. So $7 isolated at 50x. Oh, that's 51x. Oh, interesting. I've never seen that.
So I'ma run to what I'm scared of losing, yeah.
I'd actually much rather see that than not.
I'ma try when they say you should quit. And I'ma love, I'ma dare to be human.
Stupid question, but does the website you have using have KYC? Nope. I mean, it does for certain features, but for like regular trading, no. If you sign up with a link in the description, you help me out a lot. But yeah, I really like it. It reminds me of old school Bybit. It's got a lot of features that are worth it for me. No, you don't need a VPN. Huh. I mean, I like that that's there because that screams legitimacy. But at the same time, I want to be able to use the leverage that I need. Go check a different coin. If I go to Ethereum with the same thing. Yeah. Says your assets are less than 100 USDT. Maximum leverage is 5x. Huh. Josh V. What's going on, man? How you doing? Seems like I never catch you in the chat anymore. I always see the comments, though. I appreciate you, man. Take a look, another look at Master. This one right here, Monstera. If this is the coin that you're talking about, man, there's actually nothing I can say. There's nothing to talk about here. Yeah, I mean, if this isn't okay, so MicroStrategy. I was about to say, man, there's nothing I can say. Yeah, so I mean, we have an ABC top here. We are in the midst of an A and a B on the larger time frame, so A to B. So I mean, we can assume that the price action would like to complete the structure. I mean, as things currently sit, I think we would probably be working our way down to like 234. If we can't hold 230, I mean, we would really have to like break through this region here. But if we break through this this support region, we would probably be seeing it drop down to like the 113. Don't know if that's exactly in the cards, but in terms of like support and resistance, it is. But yeah, we're currently in a short setup now. Like on the medium time frames, if we jump down to like a 2 hour here, we can make the argument that we could turn bullish for sure. We have an A to a B right here. So I still think that we would probably be in kind of like a downwards momentum. But if we have an A and we have a B, off of the larger structure that could be formed here, I think that could turn bullish, because then it would be A to B to C. And obviously you have two opportunities past that point. Either this high is going to be your foreseeable high for the future, or we could see continuation up to the all-time high and retest that. But as of right now, you only have two options. You have a long hedge and a short hedge from 431. And then past that point, you're waiting for larger structures to give you a better idea of where price action would want to go. But overall, from like a macro standpoint, it looks like we do want to come back down and retest like 242. Now, can I get away with 5x? So I want to take this ADA trade, but I don't know if I'll be able to put the appropriate risk on it. If I did $20 a margin at I would still need 22x leverage for that. Could do a 2% stop loss. That's 11. Yeah, I might just need to transfer a little bit more. How do I not kill my account using 50x leverage? Well, you come over here, you type in restored calculator, Kite's restored calculator on Google. You put in your portfolio size. All right, so work with me here. All right, if you don't mind sharing, you know, like what's your portfolio size? What are you working with? You know, I'll do it here for you. So I mean, if you want to use 50x leverage, we can make it happen. But it might not be in the same way that your brain thinks of it traditionally. When a lot of people think 50x leverage, they think that they're gambling. To me, leverage is a tool. It's not a gambling wheel. It just allows me to kind of disperse my money around the market. 11K. So if you have 11K, obviously this is personal preference, but I probably wouldn't use more than 1% risk. If that. With 11K, you're working with a pretty sizable stack. So like 0.75 to 5.5% risk. I think that's really appropriate, but you know, if we want to go to the higher end, well, we would say 1%. So, you know, let's say if you want to use 50x leverage, you would be using a 1% stop loss with 50% risk from margin, and then you would be using like 2% margin size. So you would be using $220 at 50x leverage, but with a 1% stop loss. That would give you 50x leverage. So that way, if the market moves 1%, you lose 50% of your margin, which 50% of your margin is equal to 1% of your portfolio. Make sense? So that's how you can use 50x leverage and get these high percentage numbers that look good on paper, but in all reality, you are amplifying your portfolio. This trade right here. All right, all it is it's allowing you to use the full might of your portfolio in a single trade, while still having the opportunity and capital to go and try to trade another coin at the same time. So you can see down here, contracts to use is 11,000, but we're actually only using $220. So leverage is a tool that allows you to disperse your money across the market, but not essentially like gambling risk on a single coin. Because like, yeah, if I wanted to bump this up and I wanted to use 10% of my portfolio at 50x leverage, I would be risking 5 times the value of my portfolio on a single trade. So yeah, if this trade worked out, you know, if you made a 10 R&R trade, you would make $5,500. But if you get stopped out once, you lose $550. You get stopped out twice, $1,100. You know, and a lot of the times you're probably going to get stopped out 3 or 4 or 5 times sometimes. Now we pray that it's a one and done, and that does happen from time to time. But for me, I always expect to get stopped out once or twice before the trade actually starts going. So that 5% starts to stack up pretty quick, because, you know, you lose one time and now you're down to, you know, 10,000, what, 650 or 500, 450. And now, you know, instead of making 5,500, you make 5,200, and then you lose again, and now you're down to, you know, 9,950, or, you know, my math ain't mathing right now. And now instead of making 5,500, you make 5,000. It starts to dwindle pretty quickly. So using like 1% is probably best. And then, yeah, if you want to amplify your portfolio, go open up another trade on a different coin, or take a hedge trade, or, you know, there's better ways to utilize your portfolio than gambling it all on a single coin. But if 50x is what you want to use, you can use it. You can use it. but you have to use it appropriately. So just look up Kite's Restored Calculator on Google. You'll see it. You pop in your portfolio size. And the aim is to get the portfolio at risk as close to like 1% as possible. If you have a smaller portfolio, or if that portfolio to you is small, okay, because we all have different parameters. If 11K is, you know, kind of like your chump change, it's what you're willing to risk, and you got other money on the side that you can always use, sure, go to 2%, you know. But for the average person, 11K is a lot, so try to go 1% or lower. So you kind of just have to fat finger these numbers in until it equals that. So, you know, that's why for me, you know, the easiest way to do that would be 2% at 50% risk. But you could do, you know, you could do 5% at 20% risk. So you increase your margin, you reduce your risk from margin. It's still, so this trade is a different setup, okay? Your leverage is 20x now. You have higher margin, but if you're still going to make the same exact amount of money if you win this trade than if you were using 50x leverage. No, it's still very possible to blow your account up with 2 to 3x leverage. Because, like, you know, if you're looking at this from like a example of like, hey, I really want to make some money here. Like if I use 2 to 3x leverage, like what I'm making like $600 if I take a trade. So like you go like, all right, well, let's use, you know, $4,000 at 3x leverage. Maybe you're risking like 2,000. That's not what I want. Let's see. Let's try 10%, 5%. I really can't do it because I don't know like what your stop losses is, like what you like to use. Like this right here, if you were using $4,000 at 3x leverage with a 1% stop loss, portfolio risk is still 1%, a little bit above it, a little bit. So this trade would make the same exact amount of money as the 50x leverage, but you have more of your margin in that trade. So if you wanted to go take a hedge trade on the same coin, or, you know, open up a different trade on a different coin, you don't have as much. Like if I were to take this same trade and multiply it by 3 times, meaning I have the current trade open, I have a hedge trade open, and then maybe I want to open up another trade to amplify my profit, I'm now at $12,000. I'm over my profit size, my portfolio size, so I can't make that trade. But if I was using the higher leverage, I have plenty of margin available to me, so now I can take the original trade, the hedge trade, and an additional trade to amplify profits for whichever way the market's moving. See what I'm saying? It allows you to utilize more of your portfolio safely if you do it correctly. That's why the Restored Calculator is here. Allows you to think of margin and leverage in a different way rather than traditionally, which is just gambling. To deposit a little bit more money here and see if I can get that trade on. BTC is dumping. How far do you think we will go on the 1 hour time frame? When we get down to 117,080, we do have the opportunity for a long position, which could cause a retest into the higher regions here. You know, pretty much all the way back up to like 122 if it really wanted to. Doesn't mean that it will, but that's definitely a possibility. And that would form a larger A and a larger B, and then obviously we would repeat that process once we got back down to the start of the B wave. But me personally, like I'm preying on its downfall. Not because, like, that's the thing, like, not because I hate Bitcoin. I want to see Bitcoin win. So when the market starts getting thin, I rather us coming back down and, you know, solidifying support regions, so that way we can go on another run. And then when that run fails, we don't have to drop as low. But as it sits right now, from our current position, we have support at 112, we have support at 98, and then we have support at 74. So more than likely, what I'm really hoping for is, you know, if I wanted to maintain like a bullish stance, is us coming back down and retesting like 98 to like 109. And then if you want to stay bullish, well, we find support there and we go on another run. But I think the healthiest option would really be us coming back down to 78,000 and consolidating. If we want to continue just a really aggressive upwards movement like we have been over the last 2 years. Like, we've been in a 3-year long bull market. It is almost 2026. And we have been in a straight upwards trajectory for 3 years. All right. I think we do need some sort of cooling off period on a larger time frame. Hey, that's just me. Some people just want it to keep going up. There ain't nothing wrong with that. Hey, bro. I'm just wondering your thoughts on Crypto Face. I don't have, like, I don't hate the dude. I mean, he's a salesman. And to me, there's nothing wrong with that. Do I wish things were done differently? Sure. But, you know, obviously to some extent he has to make sure that his product sounds like it's the bee's knees. You know, that's how you get sales. So, you know, a lot of what he does is flashy and stunty so that people, because he knows what he's doing. All right, he's not dumb. By no means is he a dumb dude. He understands that in order to attract the average trader, to turn them into sales, he has to throw up a lot of money on the board, win or lose. You know, if you really go back and you look at a lot of his trades, a lot of them aren't necessarily the best investments. All right. But simply putting a trade on his screen that says $2 million, which, you know, still a good chunk of change, but it's usually like, you know, 20,000, you know, or 200,000 at 10x leverage. But he markets it as 2 million, which, you still lose the same amount of money in the same amount of time as a $2 million trade. So he's flashy, and then obviously when it comes to the marketing of Market Cipher, he makes it seem like you can't make a wrong decision. To me, I have no problems with CryptoFace himself. He's doing what he's got to do in order to make sales. But in terms of like the indicator itself, I don't like it. It's just, to me, the way that I trade, there was too many psychological issues that came along with it. So that's all. We're over 100. 97. 97.50. Hate to see it. Hold on. We might be to... if we tricked it.
Off we go as the Rocky roads the road get rocky, running out of coffee blow and Vyvanse by chance. Can you spot me though? Until my soul gets sold, I'll be awfully broke. There's a moral to the story that cannot be told about the ones on top, how they copy flows from the rapper that's hot in the spot below. I'll take anybody beef, make a sloppy Joe. Okay, take another look at the menu. Never sold out, but I sell out the venue. Bottom of the pill bottle, tell what I've been through. So every day I wonder if I want to continue. Bitches on my telephone tell me to send nudes. I can't now, I'm playing Nintendo with 10 dudes. And I'm off at the benzo. My friend Drew's dad got a stash like Gardner Minshew. Long hair looking like a porn star now. I could probably get a foreign car now just to make him say, wow, Cal really got his shit together. But he's a fucking drug addict, but he's rich forever. And it's crazy, his car got crimson leather. He got custom plates, they let him pick the letters. He got a dick implant, the bigger the better. The only girl he can fit in like 6'7", man. Look, I know you listen every project, never get the concept. Content too complex, too conscious. Converse, context, too much to process. All you do is talk shit, little bitch. Man, I'm just sitting back watching the pussification of this whole...
We at least post it for everybody else here.
Can't say this, I can't say that. Shit, what the fuck can I say? When did y'all become so fucking sensitive, man? Lighten up. I'm just here to entertain you. And if that triggers you, well, then you're a pussy. Listen, it's a cold world, easier to play this shit safe. Knowing how the world gon' judge you if you make a mistake. These miserable fucking people so saturated with hate, they can't wait to pile it on someone else's plate. Like if I'm right with every word except for one in the song, they'll only focus on injustice
He said, I feel you, and I'm with you. I never got Market Cypher since they have a free version on TradingView, but I've seen him win a lot more times than losing. Dude is a crazy trader. I mean, that's the thing, man. When you got enough money to throw around, you can show a lot of wins. Things you don't see. I mean, I was part of his, quote unquote whale crew for a pretty long period of time. And the thing is like, there's just there's no recourse. So like, for me, I'm all about hedging and stuff like that. So when I'm wrong, we can at least walk away with something. But it was kind of like it was a balls to wall mentality. And you could really tell it was bankrolled. It wasn't necessarily profit. So I got no animosity. People gotta do what people gotta do. But to me, I've been doing this long enough where like I can see the difference between a trader and a salesman. And I'm not denying that they can be one and the same. But like I look at like Tom Hugard, I see trader. I look at CryptoFace, I see professional gambler. Okay. All right, guys. I think it's time to head off for today. I appreciate everybody showing up. Thanks for all the questions. Like I said, hopefully I'll be here tomorrow, early in the morning. 7:30, 8:30, somewhere around there, EST. And we'll see what kind of market's in the movement. What kind of movement's in the market. But yeah, so far so good. I guess we're gonna have to make a little bit more profit on this account and start opening up some more bigger trades here. But yeah, I really do like this website. Like I said, that kind of surprised me though, because I mean I made this trade when the account was only at like $50 or $40. So don't know what changed there. Because I already have a couple trades at 50x, so it's trying to limit me. Huh. I don't know. When do you think the alts will flip into alt season? I don't know. Me personally, I don't think it's. We've already had a pretty good run. I don't know if we're really gonna see what people want. A lot of these alts have done incredibly well. I mean, Ethereum's been on an absolute tear. Litecoin tear to the upside. I mean, just a couple weeks ago let's see, this was 2 months ago. We had a tear about 64% on Litecoin, which is, for Litecoin, that's pretty huge. A lot of these like no-name coins have had crazy pumps. I really don't know what more we can expect, So, I don't know. Me personally, I think, I don't know if it's over, but I think we're coming to a close sometime soon. Maybe one more consolidation, one more major pump, but I don't know. I just don't see it going much further. Now, if the trades are there, I'll take the trades. The trader doesn't care. But like me, I don't see it. But that's why we separate the two. All right, guys. I appreciate your time today. Let's go ahead and head off. And hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow. And we can talk more, trade more, all that good stuff. All right, guys. Stare at each other for a little bit. Bye.
Became the one that I came to be. Where I'm from, they say get a job or you already determine what your wage will be. Botched that concept at 15 gracefully. Threw a Hail Mary just to show them where my faith will be. Never gave a fuck the ball at the mall, no. I just wanted to get up when I fell down. Doing 20 as I balled through the fog, yeah. Them times will show you just who you are, yeah. Shout out to mama, shout out to my sister, shout out to wifey. My brothers hold me down, had division, my brothers hide me. This shit don't happen from flipping coins, wishing people like me. It come from messing up, not giving a fuck if people like me. Things aside, I'ma start on through. I know it gets hard, you gotta ride for you. I know you got dreams that ain't all come true, but I wrote this hook for you, for you. Time ain't running out. I know you've had enough. Things are looking up. I know. So don't take in the sun. Just walk, you don't need to run. 'Cause you already won. Your time ain't running out. I know you've had enough. But things are looking up. Go take in your sun. Just walk, you don't need to run. 'Cause you already won.
I feel like a young goat, yeah. Who got the plug? Who got the aux cord? Table looking like a motherfucking chalkboard. All of a sudden, everybody starting to talk more. Bitch, I'm buzzing like that thing that's in your sock drawer. I might wake up in the morning with my jaw sore. She might wake up in the morning for the encore. Ooh, girl, you shady, how you